Live. Welcome back to another episode of Wisco Fanatics. Feels so good to be back. My life is now back in balance. My life was in flux as I was not on here for 3 weeks. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what day it was. It feels very good to be back, though. My Friday nights are not normal unless I'm talking about Packers with Bryant, and we missed Simon tonight, but we have myself, Tyler Bryant. So we have some good stuff to talk about. Obviously, a big-time win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody thought that we would be able to do it, but again, Jordan Love, this young offense, the defense, Joe Barry. There's a lot of people to give love to for this one. And then we have a preview for the game against the New York Giants on Monday night, which should be a good one. Giants look hot and cold at times, more cold than hot, but yeah, man, I'm excited.
They're a little underrated, but we'll get to that, obviously.
Yeah. In moments, that's why I said hot and cold. I didn't just say cold, but they've been more cold than hot.
Yeah. Reggie, you did, and we did with our heart predictions. It was more just giving a call back to the broadcast, where literally all broadcast. 9 analysts all picked the Chiefs.
Yeah, and we posted that on the page, and we've got some pretty funny reactions to that as well. So, so if you're here, you're going to join us. Welcome. Bryant, how was your week, man? Haven't talked to you in a while.
It was good. Busy. My supervisor's out of town, so I was in charge for the most part.
So how many buildings did you burn down?
My daughter decided to bust her chin open and get some stitches, so that was fun. And so I'm glad it's Friday. Going to the hockey game tomorrow night, for the number 1 team in the nation, so that'll be fun. And then
gotta have something to do.
Yeah,
and then ready for football on Sunday and Monday again. So
yeah, let's go. Got some big games on Sunday as well that impact the Packers' playoff chances, but we'll get into that as well.
I'm going to tease just a little bit. We will have some very exciting news coming at the end of December. Just gonna tease that a little bit. Just kind of sow the seeds a little bit. We'll announce that towards the end of December, but some exciting news coming at the end of the month.
Yeah, man. Lots of hard work. We appreciate everybody involved. It's going to be 2024 is going to be an exciting year, I think. I think we're just trending upward along with the Green Bay Packers. So let's do this.
Hell yeah, Reggie. There you go. Go Army.
Go Army, beat Navy.
We've owned them the last couple of years, and it's been beautiful. So
I just like the uniforms, really.
So I got a funny story about that I can say real quick. I was in a building. I won't say which building, but the main leader of this building, right, would sit up in a big office with a big glass window to look down on what we called our watch floor. And this guy was Army, right? But we were all joint or whatever. So there's a bunch of Navy people down there or whatever. And it was coming up on the Army Navy game. So he stood up on the window and he held up a Go Navy shirt or whatever. So all the sailors and stuff were all freaking out, cheering and stuff. It goes on for 2 minutes, and then he pulls out a bottle of Windex and sprays the window and starts wiping the window with the Go Navy shirt. It was epic. It was so great. And then we beat him that weekend too. So
love it.
It's pretty good.
Love it.
All righty. So we got the 3 stars and the underrated performer from the Chiefs game. I have the number 1 star, Jordan Love. 25 out of 36, 69.4% completion percentage.
There you go.
Which is nice for multiple reasons. We spent about 4 or 5 weeks dealing with people complaining about his completion percentage.
Yeah.
So that is up, and he also had 3 touchdown passes again. So Jordan Love, fantastic. We'll talk about him a little more in depth. He's got his own segment on this year's show. So Jake has the number 2 star.
Number 2 star is no more than number 9, Christian Watson. 7 catches, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 on somebody's head. He had a 19 long for a reception. He had 2 rush attempts for 15 yards, a 13-yard long on that. 69%. Nice from Simon. Good call out, buddy. But yeah, I think Christian Watson showed his ability. I like how I was like, dude, we need to start using him on some jet sweeps. And LaFleur was just like, yeah, that guy in that Wisco Fanatics, he's right. We should use him because he's fast. Jet sweeps. I love it. We got to use him. Use all these guys and all their skills. And like just let it go. In the last couple of weeks, you could tell that the offense has really ticked it up with everybody just doing everything.
Yeah. So covering for Simon, the third star that we picked is Keijon Nixon, mainly for the fact that Keijon Nixon single-handedly won the turnover battle for the Green Bay Packers in this game. And then Lucky Bryant gets to pick the underrated performer this week.
So I had a couple that I thought about. I had Carlson. I thought we could have because he was a big game.
Touche.
Yeah. So that one. I thought Romeo Dobbs, like that fourth down catch is huge. But ultimately, I went with A.J. Dillon.
Good one.
For the 18 carries with the 73 yards. But the thing was, he had a couple plays where he didn't want to be tackled, and he kept going. What did we all talk about? I gave the stat. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but talked about time of possession, 2 to 3 Chiefs losses. They had lost time of possession. Every other game they controlled it. They pretty much won. What did we do? The first drive of the game, it was like an A.J. Dillon, like, picking apart drive. Like,
that first drive was wild.
Yeah, nothing huge gainers or anything like that, but he made them respect the time of, the run game, so that helped control the time of possession. I mean, 18 carries for 73 yards, just over 4 yards per carry, and then he also had a 14-yard reception. So overall, he just, was a solid game by him, and we really needed that. And I think we'll need it again this week once we get into the analysis, but really good game from A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, definitely a good call. All right. Bryant, starting with you, how are the wide receivers coming along?
Man, I feel like I've said this every week, but man, what a fun game to watch, right? Like, it sucks to see Watson go down right when he was getting on a roll. Like, he was becoming what he was the second half of last year again. Good call, Simon, yes. But like, Watson he's seriously starting to be that threat again. Luckily, it sounds like it won't be as serious, but it just sucks to see him go down. I highly doubt he plays this week.
Right.
But he's on a roll. Dobbs is just continuing to be consistent. The Watson touchdown that was followed like 2 plays after that catch by Dobbs was disgusting. Like,
the throw and the catch,
throws and the catches are like, how hard of a catch that is that Dobbs made. People might think it should have been easy. Like, he gets hit in the hands immediately. Like, that person, the player's shoulder or helmet or whatever, smacks him right in the hands right when he's grabbing that ball and he holds onto it. And then that play to Watson is just like, that's like the special type of stuff. Like, people don't understand that not every quarterback in the NFL can do that throw. And then, that was just disgusting by Jordan Love. And then what a concentration, great, like, up by Watson to snag that ball.
I have both if we want to talk about them.
Say again?
I have both. We want to put them up and talk about them.
We can do that now for sure. Like, this play is like top 5, top 10 quarterback type of throw. Like, teams are envious of that. Like, that ball placement is insane.
Bro.
You guys
serious? You serious?
You guys want some next-gen stats on that?
Was it like 30% completion percentage chance or something like that?
Yeah, 30.8% completion and only 1.1 yards of target separation on that. So, I mean,
insane.
Just on this frame alone, what if I told you that Christian Watson is the guy that catches this ball?
Yeah, like nuts. He just dropped it in the bucket. Like, and then,
bro,
yeah.
That's so sick.
Playing
6'5", gotta love it.
Like, when you start playing with confidence and stuff, those are the types of plays you start completing. In from weeks like 3 through 8 or 9, that wasn't a complete pass, and now they're playing with confidence. And then the concentration right here on this play. For one, Josh Myers gets absolutely destroyed, I think, right away, or who I couldn't remember, but just for him to hold on to that ball is nuts. Like, how do you hold on to that?
Yeah, you brought it up. Like, a guy died, like, hits him in the arm and then like died.
And then in the back as well, he's basically getting accordioned right there, and he holds on to the ball. That's like dropping it in the bucket. That's what you doing those net throws into the net, like you were talking about, Tyler.
That's what I said. Yeah,
that's that drill right there,
bro. Okay,
and I love this because he could have taken a sack here, not throwing it. We did get away with the hands in the face there, by the way, but
He didn't grab at least, so
yeah. And it was pretty brief, but like, just for him to even give him a chance is great here. You see younger quarterbacks just take a sack there and it's on 4th down. You know what I mean? If he takes a sack there, they got the ball on our half of the field.
Worst case scenario, he throws this ball up and it gets picked and it serves as a punt anyways.
Simon. In fairness, I told you to wear 2 pairs, so.
So electric on these plays, Reddy said. Reddy was at the game, so.
Yeah.
For me, the craziest part of this play is watching Romeo Dobbs, because he's obviously running his route. The ball's already out, and he's looking at 22. He's looking to see if the ball is going to be coming his way. He's looking to see where Jordan Love is, and then he makes the adjustment to look straight up.
Yeah, did you watch the QB school where he talks about how early Jordan threw that ball? Like, just
I didn't get a chance to watch that this week.
It's insane. Like, he throws it so early. Like, before, it's kind of like one of those up and in routes, and he throws it when he's still like just straight up. He drops it right into that bucket. So
I love
that in the background too. I love that.
Yeah, look at it.
And then you see Christian Watson on the other side. I wish we could get like a wider view where you see Christian Watson's pointing at Dobbs too. That'd be a sick still picture right there. But yeah, moving wide receiver development. So aside from them two, Malik Heath had a drop, but made up for it a couple plays later on that absolute nasty juke. That was his one catch, but he's come up big. And then Dontavian Wicks just continues to be like that solid, like James Jones type of production. Like, if you want to go back to the trifecta we used to have, 43 yards again. So really just a real fun game from the wide receivers. Yeah,
Dontavian Wicks, he's got a couple drops. I can't say it's been like a problem issue. Like, when MVS was here, like, he's open, but he's had drops. Like, Dontavian Wicks, we knew he came in with drops, but it hasn't really been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's had a couple, but it's not something where it's like, okay, we need to bring Samori Toure back into the fold. Samori Toure, complete afterthought in this offense.
Yeah.
As far as the tight ends go, Green Bay, the Packers became the first team in the Super Bowl era to have 3 rookie tight ends score touchdowns. And Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, and Ben Sims all scored their touchdowns on block and release plays, which is awesome.
My favorite. I love those.
Tucker Kraft played 61 snaps, 95% of the snaps. He had 6 targets. He had 3 receptions, 37 yards. He's becoming kind of a safety valve kind of player. And then obviously we know he was drafted for his blocking. Ben Sims, 20 snaps, 31%, caught his first career touchdown. He had 1 target, 1 reception, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. Just ones across the board. It's 11-11, make a wish. His wish was for a touchdown, and he got it.
There was another play.
Dontavian Wicks are the same type of receivers. They're kind of similar. I think Dontavian Wicks is the better route runner, and I think Malik Heath. Yeah, that's probably about it. I would just say
I'll tell you what they have.
Route runner.
They're like late to undrafted guys with attitude, and they play with it.
They play with physicality.
Yeah.
So on Tucker Kraft got a huge gain too. It was actually on a completion to Watson where he ends up rolling out of bounds. When you get a chance to watch QB school, I mean, I have a feeling they're going to come back to this because Tucker Kraft was wide open in the middle of the field, like wide open, and he would have ran for at least 15, 20 more yards. But
I got to bring up the quote that I heard on the radio today, and then Jake sent it to me. So this is Tucker Kraft. This is Tucker Kraft saying this. This is in response to his blocking. So he said, I am comfortable with violence at the line of scrimmage. I want to punish defenders as a blocker. I see the emotions in their face change once I put them on their heels. I can feel their breath leaving. They exhale as I fall on top of them.
Bro.
It's like
dude's a killer.
It's like a final paragraph from a book, like where he just takes someone's life.
Right.
Tyler, what did I always tell you was my favorite part about hitting somebody, dude? Is hearing the breath come out of them, dude. That was the best part.
It's like you're playing like a 1v1 for like 4 hours and then you finally win. Some Hunger Games shit right there.
Right.
Simon said Matt LaFleur's play calling lately with the Italian hands. Definitely. And it goes, the pass game distribution, absolutely part of this. 10 different players targeted by Jordan Love this week.
Yeah.
9 different players with receptions.
That's every game this year, isn't it? Now that he's at least 7?
Every single game has been at least 7. This week 10, and we didn't have Luke Musgrave and Aaron Jones playing. This is why I'm off on my tangent now. Here we go, because I've said this 30 times this year. This is why I am begging people to drop the wide receiver 1 depth chart mindset. Get rid of it. If we have 12 fucking guys that can get passes thrown to them, what do defenses do with that? I don't care who the wide receiver 1 quote on the depth chart is. I don't care, because we have 12 guys that can receive passes, and all of them have to be respected in the offense. Obviously, not all 12 of them can be on the field at the same time, but the fact that the depth of the weapons is there, that is scary for opponents. And it goes to Jake's point for what he says about what he thinks about the future of the offense is, and it's absolutely correct.
Yeah, they're gonna, bro, in 2 years, I'm telling you, buy your Super Bowl tickets early, people, because we're gonna be going nuts.
Hopefully.
Reggie said love for MVP, just saying, only 4 touchdowns behind Dak. If he closes the gap a little bit, we can talk.
If we continue this win streak,
right,
and say we jump to the 6th seed even, like, I'm not even like talking crazy, like, because we can't have the 5, obviously. But if we get to the 6th seed, bro, and we're on a massive win streak going into the playoffs, I think the chatter will start.
Kenneth brought something up. He said, I'm excited to see what they do to finish the season, which absolutely, they have 5 winnable games on the slate. He said it might be overreaching, but they have won the Super Bowl from the 6th seed.
Like I talked about last season, or at last week, it's weird because we're a little ahead of when Aaron first started.
Right.
We're kind of like halfway between Aaron's first season and a second season where we had that awful Cardinals loss. That's where I feel like we're at right now. So I don't think the Super Bowl is, in our sights this year. I think we can make some noise in the playoffs. I think we're probably, if we continue to play the way we are and we get even more healthy, people are going to be like, I probably don't want the Packers.
I think if we draw anybody but San Fran, I think we can make it to the second round.
Yeah.
I agree.
Then as far as Jordan Love, I plan on saying something about that a little bit later. But yeah, I think for him to be in that conversation, we'd probably have to finish 5-0. He'd probably have to go on a run of 13 to 15 touchdowns. So basically 3 more a game and get into those numbers, because of his interception ratio a little bit, because he had those 3 interceptions at the end of the games trying to win the game. But I do think he should be 100% in consideration for a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. He's already had a better season than Mac Jones's rookie year when he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
He's already better than that.
And now Mac Jones on the bench for Bailey.
Hey, did you guys know that Jordan Love has 6 career wins as a starter?
Oh, I did know that.
Justin Fields has 7.
About to be tied up this weekend.
He's in his 3rd season as a starter.
Sheesh.
All right. On the passing game distribution, Christian Watson, 7 receptions on 9 targets. Tucker Kraft had 6 targets. Dobbs and Reed had 5 targets, 4 receptions each. Dontavian Wicks had 4. Malik Heath had 2. He had the one drop, like Brian said, and then the 1 reception where he had a nasty juke and had a dude crawling on the ground looking like he's going to do a bear crawl drill. As far as spreading the ball on the field, this is impressive, actually. So Jordan Love, we already mentioned he was 25 of 36. At or behind the line of scrimmage, he was 9 for 10. That's what would be expected. Between 0 and 9 yards, he was 10 out of 12. From 10 to 20 yards, he was 2 out of 6. He had a few throwaways that counts into those. And then 20-plus yards, 4 out of 6. 4 out of 6. That's 67% on 20-plus yard throws for a guy that can't throw the deep ball.
Darian, I think if we do win out or even go 4, I think if we go 10-7, say, and make the playoffs, I think Matt LaFleur deserves serious consideration for Coach of the Year.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
And Brian Gutekunst for GM as well.
Absolutely. Gutekunst for
executive. If Goot doesn't win, because I was going through it with Tyler the other day, the last 2 drafts have made up, what was it, over 50% of the roster?
27 of the 53.
The last 2 drafts in free agency have made over 53% of the freaking roster, dude. It's insane. If he doesn't win an executive of the year in the next 2 years, dude, I'll shit my pants.
Samuel brought up the coach from Houston.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. He's done a good season too.
Yeah. And
Mike McDaniels, maybe, or whatever his name is, down in Miami.
Yeah.
They don't beat anybody.
Defense, he picked Jordan Love with the 26th pick, not the 2nd pick.
Yeah.
Tank Dell was a good pick, and I hate that he got hurt.
Yeah.
Texans, we did give the Texans their flowers when we did our draft coverage. We streamed for the first 2 days of the draft.
Last 2 seasons, really, because didn't they take Petrie last year, and we all liked him a lot? And...
Yep.
They've been having some good drafts, dude.
Yeah. And we've given them their credit. The Texans have absolutely been nailing their drafts.
Yeah.
Okay. Bryant, did you have a chance to look up anything for the offensive line to cover for Simon?
I didn't, but I mean, we can talk about it. The fact that
I just pulled it up. Packers, they gave up 16 pressures. It's okay. I'd obviously like that number to be a little bit lower. Only the 1 sack, 3 quarterback hits, 12 hurries.
Yeah, and the 1 sack was like an awful sack, but it comes out. Matt LaFleur comes out and says we pretty much told him it's okay to take a sack. He said, "I don't want you to lose 10 yards next time,
right?
But take the sack there." But I mean, they got devoured. But to give only 1 sack to that team, and it was pretty much like a planned sack because he could have thrown it away but didn't want to.
Right.
That's like this offensive line the last 3-4 weeks. Holy cow! Even in the running game, they're getting a little bit better. I'll talk about that in a second. But really good.
Yeah, Adarian said Gutekunst has been drafting some gems over the years, which is why I'm okay with him as GM. Absolutely. And I think we talked about it, that Jordan Love was going to be kind of the deciding factor on if he's a good drafter or not. And I think between Jordan Love and this year's draft class, the answer is there's no question that the answer is yes, that he's a good GM.
Yeah, Goody bet his career as a Packers GM on Jordan Love, and he went all in. He didn't. Once he thought he was ready, he didn't hesitate. And that's that takes some cojones, and I love it.
And he got rid of the 3rd round bug.
Yeah, dude. Yep. And not only that, he did that, and then the same season went and picked up another 3rd rounder.
Gotta love it, dude.
I love this team right now. Like, and just thinking about the fact that we'll have some capital next year, and it sounds like I don't know how I feel, and I don't know. This could be an off-season topic, but with Bakhtiari, if he's going to come back, he's going to have to restructure.
Right.
We have a lot of picks going into this year.
Right.
I didn't think our 2nd round pick would be behind the Jets, but I'm okay with it because now we're playing well, and so we're gonna have a lot of capital.
Like, we're getting a better pick.
Like right from that 20 to like 45 spot, we're gonna have a lot of picks right there. So
we have 4 in the top 50, something like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
What I'll say is on getting that extra 3rd round pick for Rasul Douglas, it does sound like from the comments that Gutekunst made, it does sound like they're probably going to move up.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I like that.
We might end up drafting 3 second rounders or probably move up in the 1st.
They're going to go get one of the top tackles, in my opinion. They have to.
Yeah.
Go get one of the top left or right tackles and call it a day.
If we could somehow get up, like if the guy that I want is Olu Fashanu from Penn State, if he falls to like 9-10, I would expect Gutekunst to be making calls.
He was getting his ass whooped in that Ohio State game, I'm just going to say. The defensive end from Ohio State was owning his ass.
And maybe that does let him fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Bryant's running game.
Really said pretty much everything I needed to say about A.J. Dillon during the Star, but I like to see Patrick Taylor back on. That dude has been so loyal to – I know he went to a different practice squad, but he has been through a lot with the Packers, like getting called up, getting put back down, getting called up, and then cut, and then basically re-signed a week later. Because so like good for him, right? To even just bust off the one long run, And I mean, it was nice that we retained him over James Robinson because we could easily cut him and kept James Robinson again. I mean, obviously they didn't like what they seen from James Robinson 2-yard carry because then they got rid of him. That's fine because Kenyon Drake I think is a little more explosive anyway.
Reggie just asked the question. Do you guys?
I do think if it depends. If Aaron Jones plays this week, he won't be called up.
Exactly.
If Aaron Jones doesn't play this weekend, which I'm hoping he does, because we need that explosive playmaker with Watson likely out.
Yep.
But I think Kenyon Drake he won't get many snaps, maybe 5 to 10, but I think he could hit a home run because he is pretty. If I'm not mistaken, right, he's a speedster a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought he was at his time in like Arizona.
Matt LaFleur brought up Kenyon Drake today. He was asked about it if he's having any troubles acclimating or anything like that. Matt LaFleur said he's got experience in similar systems. So he said he is acclimating quickly, like when they're doing their walkthroughs and stuff. So I absolutely could see Kenyon Drake suiting up for the Packers on Monday if they're going to hold Aaron Jones one more week. If I had to guess, and I get that we're just guessing at this situation, but I would guess that Aaron Jones is going to play based on the fact that he's been practicing for the last 2 days.
And he said that tomorrow will say a lot. So,
Right.
But overall, as a running game, they had 21 running back carries for 140 yards. That's plenty productive of what we needed in this game to maintain the clock. So, and then you mix that with Jordan Love's high completion percentage, we chewed away the clock. Like that was, excuse me, how fast was that first half? Like insane. I was like,
dude, there was like 5 possessions in the first half. That was it.
Insane. And one of them was a one play kneel down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So insane. So great game by them.
Reggie said, I say move Taylor down and bring Drake up. The thing that Patrick Taylor brings, though, is pass protection.
Yeah.
That's why Patrick Taylor keeps getting promoted back to the roster.
He doesn't have any more demotions. That's why he went to the Patriots practice squad.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think he's earned the right to. I think he's earned the right to be on the 53. And if Kenyon Drake gets called up and all of a sudden outperforms them, then that's when you have that conversation. But I think Patrick Taylor, knowing for his pass blocking, he can catch the ball, and he just broke off a nice 24-yard run for us. I mean, I feel like you keep him on there and you let him go a little bit.
Darian said Joe Alt or JC Latham. We're gonna get into draft stuff. We'll save that for the offseason. But yeah, definitely some options out there. Darian said Kenyon Drake, as I recall, has never been an RB1 for any team, which is why I feel he can be a good fit. I think he was for the Raiders for a little bit. Mm-hmm. He had a good stretch for the Raiders. Cody said, I can't believe we're talking about the game where we paid the refs so Love can throw 3 more bangers.
How much more could the broadcast just be all over Mahomes and wanting them to
my God. Chris
win that game so bad? So let's ignore the late hit that was atrocious that set up that Hail Mary. Let's ignore that the clock should have been running when MVS was going backward. Let's ignore the fact that there should have been a 10-second runoff.
Yep.
Like, come on now.
And the other thing that I'll say is, I'll say this.
I guess the refs gave up the 3 sacks in the red zone in the first half too.
That's where I was going. Is if you want to say that the Packers won this game because of the officiating, or Kansas City lost the game because of the officiating, that's a bullshit excuse. The Chiefs lost this game because their first 2 drives, they settled for field goals. That's 4 points they left on the board. And then they failed a 2-point conversion. That's 6 points they left on the board. That's 6 points and 8 points with the 2-point conversion that they left on the board.
I'll say this. One incident, I saw a Chiefs fan who was actually being realistic, and he said the Packers performed in the red zone. The Chiefs did not. That's the real reason they lost the game.
Yep.
Plain and simple. And Mina Kim's, love her. She is tremendous on ESPN. She's one of the few people I actually respect on that show. She was asked about the late non-call on the PI, and she said, I don't care about that. The Packers were the better team for 60 minutes. 100%. Yeah. You could, when you watch that game and you take your hater glasses off, if you're just simply watching, one team's wearing all black uniforms, one team's wearing all white, right? No logos. I'll tell you what, the Packers look better.
Yeah. Cody said they lost because Biles was at the game. I'll say this, like Simone Biles, Taylor Swift, like,
I was kind of pleasantly pleased. I only seen Taylor Swift's face once or twice.
I know, dude. Thank God,
dude. It was annoying as hell that they were tracking her plane and shit hours up to the game. It's like,
bro, did you see the goddamn news? Did you see the news?
No, I don't.
On Monday they didn't even talk about any of the plays. They were like, "Oh, Taylor's left Wisconsin at blah 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 time." Like, why do you know that?
They're tracking her plane. They're literally tracking her plane.
Yeah, what is this?
Okay, live her life.
On from that. Holy cow. We've already spent too much time talking about it.
Yeah.
Jake, how did the Packers do in the red zone?
So are you talking, did you say offense or defense?
Jake, how did the Packers do in the red zone offense? Still on offense.
Red zone offense? You guys are going to like this. They were balling, boy. So I also took some time of possession stuff. So Bryant's going to be a big fan of this. So first possession, first and 10 at the 20, love to read, no gain. Second and 10 at the 20, Dillon for 6, gets to the 14. Third and 4, love to Wicks for 7. Third down, money down. That's the
beautiful
goddamn stuff
slant
you need.
too.
Love that. First and goal, Dylan for 1. Got for 6 yards to the 1 yard line. Second and goal from the 1. Love finds Sims for his first ever touchdown, and I was geeking. That finished off a 13-play, 75-yard, 7-minute and 47-second drive. You want to talk about taking a big boy shit on somebody? God damn!
Dude, almost 8 minutes on a good defense,
and that's what I'm talking about. The AJ Dillon's runs. He didn't have any big runs, but if you name those 2 runs again, he had there 2 6-yard runs inside the 20. Yep. That's more than half of what we need to get to score in that position, and they put us in above this or ahead of the sticks in short yardage and chances to complete those. So just huge runs by Dillon.
Yeah, from the 14-yard line, he got 12 of them, dude. That's big boy stuff. And earlier in the drive, he picked up a big third down as well. Yep. So you get to the second touchdown drive. I only write down the plays in the red zone because that's all I'm covering. 2nd and 1 at the 18. Dillon ran for 4 yards, get to the 14. 1st and 10 from the 14. Dillon runs 5 yards to the 9-yard line. 2nd and 5 from the 9. Love tried to throw to Watson. It was incomplete. 3rd and 5 from the 9. Love throws a touchdown to Watson. And, man, I got to tell you.
Let me put that play up.
Put that
Samuel
play up.
said, and then they bid on the run. They absolutely did, and that's what makes the
block. I didn't even look at that, but what you're telling me right now is it's like just quick math. What, 30-40% of AJ Dillon's rushing yards came from inside the red zone?
Dude,
this is the play that Jake's talking about now.
Oh, absolute great job. First of all, the patience to allow the play to develop. He doesn't panic. He steps up in the pocket.
Look at him lift his feet. Look at the awareness. Him lift his foot right there, his left foot over the guard's feet. He's not looking at him. He just knows where he's at. Look at that.
Yeah, and then his ability. We did it again, dude. We did it again. His
Watson's double covered right now.
Platform is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like the quick reset.
He's jumping. He's jumping. It's insane.
Bro, I gotta tell you, I know why people hate us, dude. I know why. Like, are you shitting me? We did it again.
Like, look how explosive he is when he moves up in the pocket. How quick he is right here. Just boom, right there. Like, and then just
stays behind his blockers too. That's him stepping up and then staying in the pocket was.
Yeah,
I was so impressed.
Yeah, that was. You want to talk about a mamma mia, dude? Golly.
Oh, that mama's the mia.
So that was our second drive. That finished off an 8-play, 75-yard drive for 4 minutes and 21 seconds. So we're just chewing clock and scoring touchdowns on top of holding them to field goals.
Yes, beautiful.
So then our third scoring drive in the red zone, it was set up by a 4th and 1 play at the 44. That was the Love the Dubs play. Oh, my freaking goodness. I still can't believe that throw. We already went over it, but I still can't believe it. 45 air yards on that throw, by the way. 1st and 10 at the 11. We did a quick run with Dillon. He got -1 to the 12. And then Love just decides to have Watson make another highlight reel play, and he absolutely dogs this kid. Oh, my goodness. Just insane. So when you add up, we also had one play outside of that, and that was the sack that Love took. So when you add up all the plays, we had 28 total plays for 217 yards and 3 touchdowns in the red zone. That's 7.75. We had the ball on those scoring possessions for 16 minutes and 24 seconds.
Damn.
That's just touchdown drives. 16 minutes and 24 seconds on touchdown drives.
You said in the red, so those are all our touchdown drives.
Yeah, that's the whole drive together.
17 yards in the red zone, we have like 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're right. But that's 16 minutes and 24. That's of our 30-32 total.
Yep.
So outside of that, at least 14 minutes and 8 seconds left, right? 8 minutes and 43 seconds of that 14:08, we had field goal drives. When we had the ball, we scored. Plain and simple.
Reggie said that second touchdown to Watson was goosebumps. We were all speechless, to be honest with you. Like, we were all in the group chat that has the 4 of us in it. We none of us knew what to say. We were all shooketh, speechless, just didn't have the words to describe like how nuts what we just saw was.
They they didn't give us enough time to recuperate ourselves after the pass to Romeo. I'm just going to say that. We were still getting over that. They ran a play with Dylan for -1, and all of a sudden Love's like, fuck it, let's do it again. Like, what is going on?
So this is like, and like those plays by Love, look, he's not going to be as good as like this game all the time, right? But the fact that he's shown he can do this for a stretch, what they need to do is they need to capture that.
Yeah.
And then like make sure he can maintain that to a certain degree, and we're golden. Like we're in a really good position. You know how many NFL teams are probably like, what the hell, man? Like, why is it continuing? Like, well, I seen someone like from the I don't know if you guys seen the show Breaking Bad, but someone tweeted out after the game,
where he's like,
keep getting away with this. Keep getting away with this. Or like the Stewie meme where he's like, Packers are Bears fans after watching Jordan Love, and then you just see Stewie put himself in bed, turn his back, and he just starts crying.
That's so funny. Cody said that throw sent Simon out into the Alaskan wild. I bet it did. Third down, I mean, not a lot of different things going on third down either. Packers were 5 for 10 on third down, 50%. That's above the 40% goal that I set. 1 for 1 on fourth down. I will say now, they were 4 for 5 on third downs in the first half, 80%. That is very high. Second half, they were 1 for 5 on third downs and 1 for 1 on fourth downs. But let me go through these because I do think it's important to not just be like, oh, they were 1 for 5 on third downs in the second half. They sucked, because there's more to it. So the first one was a 3rd down and 8. Jordan Love threw a pass to Jaden Reed for 7 yards. I think in this situation, they knew they were going for it on fourth down because they were in that kind of like 40, 45 yard line range where it's like no man's land. So that's where they went for the fourth down to Romeo Doubs. So they converted on that drive anyways, even though they didn't do it on third down. They converted on fourth down. The next one, they got into a 3rd and 16. They had an incomplete pass. So they did punt on that drive. The next one was 3rd and 10. That's where the sack came in. And again, we'll talk about this a little bit into the coaching and the Jordan Love part of it, but that was kind of planned on that part of it, just to keep the clock running. Oh no, sorry, that's later on. That's the wrong one. And then they got a field goal on that drive. Then they had a 3rd and 1. The only third down they converted in the second half was the old Love shove.
Love that, dude. I seriously love that. That's so much better than tush push.
Yeah, it sounds way better. It sounds way less something. Then the 3rd and 6, that's the one where the sack happened. And both of those previous 2 that they didn't convert, both did end in field goals. So, I mean, you look at it, the first one they didn't convert, they converted on fourth down. Second one they didn't convert, they punted. Then the next one they didn't convert, ended in a field goal. The next one they did convert, and then the last one they didn't convert, ended in a field goal. So they missed four third downs, but they still got 13 points out of these drives with the touchdown and the 2 field goals. So still pretty solid on third down. Bryant, how did special teams do on Sunday?
More of this, please. I guess I don't want to say it was a perfect game, but nearly, right? Like there was nothing that I can immediately comes to mind in a negative on special teams. And Anders Carlson, that kick after the sack was huge because that put us at 8-point different, right? We can't lose the game at that juncture, right? They can tie it, but they cannot beat us right there. So that field goal is absolutely huge because they were going to have to score a touchdown either way. What that field goal does is makes it, if they do score a touchdown, we don't lose. We have another swing at it, right? 2 punts in the game, one down to the 3-yard line right before that half. So even if they had, a 12-second drive like they did against the Bills in them, they didn't really have a chance to take it. And then his other punt, the only other punt Whelan had was inside the 20. Nixon had an okay game, couple, 30, he averaged 30 yards per kickoff return. Other than that, I mean, it's just good. It was nice to see Carlson, because it's so easy for young kickers to start spiraling out of control. Like for him to have this game where he has a perfect kicking game, that's probably going to be huge for his confidence going forward. And we're going to need him. we're gonna play a lot of close games like throughout the rest of the year. We're playing like everyone wants to, you can crap on the Giants, fine, but they've won 2 games in a row now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their defense has played tough,
Yep.
so it's not going to be a cakewalk. And especially with we're riding high right now. You know what I mean?
And it's in their building.
And it's in their building, exactly. And I'll tell you something. I'll give you a stat later about that too. So, yeah.
I wanted to say one thing
by special teams.
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing on special teams. With Quay Walker and Devondre Campbell healthy, it means a little bit more of Isaiah McDuffie on special teams. I love him on special teams. That dude fills in wherever he's needed. And I think if we're talking about, we talk about the underrated performer trophy, like if there was a guy on it, like Isaiah McDuffie could be the defensive guy and Zach Tom could be the offensive guy. Like those are the representatives on the top of the trophy for the underrated performers of the year. Isaiah McDuffie, absolutely fantastic on special teams.
Are we just resting Quay this week, by the way? I haven't heard much about him, but I know he's missed practice twice in a row.
Yeah, I've seen him limited. I don't know if they're
limited or did not practice.
Yeah, I think he was limited yesterday and then didn't practice today, or maybe the other way around. I didn't hear LaFleur talk about Quay at all today. I heard him talk about Elton Jenkins, that they're just being cautious with him, but definitely one to keep an eye on, obviously. All right.
He'll play then.
Yeah. So on the secondary, Keyshawn Nixon did give up 4 receptions on 6 targets, but only 32 yards. Plus he had the interception, so there's that. Carrington Valentine was only targeted twice. He had a pass defense and then 1 reception allowed for 7 yards. So people are just not throwing at Carrington Valentine. He's been fantastic. And credit to Gutekunst for finding that dude in the 7th round.
Man.
Samuel said, I hate how all the TV shows keep saying we have an easy schedule remaining. Then I realize that 2 of those games are divisional games. Absolutely. And Chicago, they're probably wicked pissed that the Packers are still 500 in what's supposed to be a rebuild.
They're
going to want to stick it to us.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the combined record is 20 wins and 40 losses. So when you look at it that way, I mean, we have the easiest remaining schedule by win percentage.
Right. Just saying that.
Say easy schedule. I mean, Arizona just who they beat last week, and then you turn around and then
Arizona beat Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, and then Bengals going and beating Jacksonville when Jacksonville, Bengals are starting to back up quarterback in Jacksonville like any given Sundays.
Any given Sunday, exactly. That's the thing is like the Packers on paper, they're probably going to be favored in probably all of the games they play for the rest of the year. Except for maybe Minnesota.
They're favored in every game.
Okay.
Isn't that game in Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah, so that probably gives them 2.5. But even still, they're going to be favored in all these games, but I'm willing to bet that none of us predict any of the games are decided by more than a touchdown.
No.
Okay.
Not from head, anyway.
Right, exactly. Right. And then Corey Ballantyne struggled a little bit. Teams are targeting him. Having Jair healthy would be a big boost for the team. I will say Ballantyne, we broke down the one play that he had where he read a screen really well on Pacheco. That was a good job by him, but he was targeted 9 times. Like, cue the principal from Ferris Bueller saying 9 times. Gave up 6 receptions. Yep. Only gave up 46 yards on those 6 receptions. So a little bit of bend, don't break in this situation. That 46 yards was the most given up by any player. Nobody allowed more than 46 yards in coverage this week, which is impressive. Now, here's the thing is that obviously the Chiefs had guys gain more than 46 yards. Enter Travis Kelce. Now, Travis Kelce getting his is literally a product of what we know that he is best at, and that's finding the open spots in the defense. Travis Kelce is absolutely goated at that.
Yeah, he is.
Open spots. That's what makes him and Patrick Mahomes so good together, because they find the soft spots in the defense. So there's no stopping that, really.
No.
And then Darnell Savage did play 62 snaps out of 68. That is a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Darnell Savage, no training wheels. He's back.
I like that.
And then on to the tackling. You guys are going to like my segment for tackling. Packers only missed 6 tackles. 1 tackle missed by 6 guys, so it was isolated. This is what I said to that.
I concur.
6 missed tackles. Hell yes.
Did you say the same player missed all 6?
What do you say?
Did you say the same player missed all 6 or not one?
No. 6 different guys missed one each.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it wasn't like, this player had 4 of the 6 missed tackles and we need to get him off the field. It was just 6 guys at different points of the game had 1 missed tackle each.
And the other players are good. They're going to make you miss once in a while.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing is like the other team has a say in it. They're all football players. Isaiah Pacheco's a beast.
He is.
And his play style did get him banged up and he's not playing this week, which obviously I'm not saying is like, the Packers knocked him out, but like he plays rough. He plays hard.
I have a comment about Chris Collinsworth I want to say, but not right now. I'll tell you in the chat later.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe off screen. So Jake's covering for Simon for the defensive line. So Jake can just rattle off the rush defense, the D line, and the pass rush.
All right. So 3 segments in one. Here we go. Ready, break. All right. So I'll start with run defense. Run defense, we gave up 25 carries for 148 yards and 1 touchdown. It's a 5.9 yard average. Pacheco had 18 for 110 and 1 of that. So, I mean, we were just talking about it. That guy runs hard. There was the one play where he wasn't even on the ground, and his offensive line was pushing him for like 12 yards.
Yeah.
And Collinsworth
is just going nuts. He's like, oh my, look at Pacheco. He's going. Look at him go. And it's like neither of his feet are touching the ground right now, dude.
I'm like, bro, he's like when I carry my daughter to give her a bath. Like, he ain't doing none of the work right now. I am proud of Van Ness.
Lose 2 to win teams. That's true. Back to back, yeah.
They did.
Reggie's proud of Van Ness showing promise. I have a feeling
in a 4-day span too, Cody. They lost to 2 win teams in a 4-day span. So they got that going for him. Mahomes had 4 for 26. He had the one kind of longish run that was kind of annoying, but he does that to everybody. Kadarius Toney had 1 for 6. Edwards-Helaire had 2 for 6. I don't know what happened to that guy, but he's just non-existent now. Probably out of the league when his contract's done, or he'll get one more look by another team. Then if he doesn't stick,
Bill Belichick will pick him up to use him in a 4-man running back committee.
Yeah, right. I love when Kadarius Toney was running and Quay Walker decided to freaking choke slam him like he was the Undertaker. That was hilarious for me. But the run defense, we know that that's probably the one area that we struggle, and we're just going to keep trying to improve upon it. I'll say that in terms of the defensive line, I think that some of the guys are getting a better push than they were early in the year. They're figuring out gaps. They're using their hands a little bit better. So when you go to the run game and you go to the stops, we had 9 stops in the run game, 4 of them from Kenny Clark. So after we called out Kenny Clark, he turned into the man that we believe him to be.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we were calling him out and calling him trash. Tyler and I talk about this all the time on Wednesdays. Yep. We're giving you constructive criticism, like legit constructive criticism, not just criticism.
The thing is, when we do that, it comes from a place of we know that you're capable of more.
Yeah.
It's not that we're like, you suck. It's more like we know you're better.
Yeah.
It's a different shift. It's like trying to push them forward as opposed to pulling them down.
Agreed. And that's what constructive criticism should be. You
should
be able to tell somebody, hey, you're lacking in this area. I know you can do this. Okay, Go do it. Prove it.
Exactly.
And Kenny Clark has absolutely been answering the call. 4 of the 9 run stops from Kenny. Brooks had 1. Slayton had 1. That's just from the D-line. Nixon, Savage, and Campbell finish it out. They had 1 apiece. So 9 total in the run game. So they're getting better. And the DBs are willing to tackle now. That's a nice thing. And, Tyler and I talked about it the other day. Everybody rallying to the football. That's something nice to see, man. Tyler and I rewatched the game together, and that was one of the first things that we both pointed out was, man, look at all the yellow hats. Look at all the yellow hats. Look at all the yellow hats in this one. People hustling to the play.
2-point conversion was the biggest one where that stood out.
Dude, our secondary has surprised me so much. Like, I knew Valentine had a chance, but Valentine's been playing well. Nixon's solid for the most part. They're all willing tacklers. Like,
Owens is a straight up dog, dude.
I think Stokes has a pretty good chance to play this game, but I don't.
He hasn't been activated yet, but he's been full participation.
Like, it's going to be interesting what they do with him. Jair, I don't know what's going to happen with Jair. But like if those two come back, I hope they're willing to tackle like these other dudes have been.
Yeah.
Can I say something on the run defense quick? Because you kind of mentioned that like it's a problem, but they're getting better. My thing is that you know that the run D is a problem, so I would make tweaks to the scheme to fix it. But the Packers have been a pretty good pass defense team. So you don't want to try so hard to improve the run defense that it then hurts your pass defense, and then you're not good at anything.
Yeah.
Okay at everything.
Yeah.
So the Packers are essentially saying, we're going to give you, these short runs, and you might break a long one here and there, versus we're going to give you big-ass chunk plays in the passing game and let you go score touchdowns in 3 minutes.
Do you want to know what that reminds me of? If I can make a comparison to basketball. That's like defending the three-point line and giving up the lane. Essentially,
or saying take all the floaters you want. Exactly.
Yeah, that's essentially what that feels like to me.
It's a bend, don't break.
Yeah. So the run defense, it's still a problem, like we said, but honestly, it's improving. And I just want to say about Pacheco, as tough as he runs, I could tell that guy never took a boxing class because that was a horrible left hook.
Dude, okay, so this is one of those scenarios where, like, we're separating the player from the person. Like, I respect the way that Isaiah Pacheco plays. Absolutely lost all respect for him as a person. Because Keyshawn Nixon put his ass on the ground on a perfectly legal block.
And he was mad, bro. He
got mad because Keyshawn Nixon owned him, babied him, blocked him perfectly, pancaked him, all completely legally. And then Pacheco got pissed.
I will say the little extra, like, hey, eat some more dirt is probably what pissed him off a little bit, but that's just funny to me. That's funny as hell to me.
Darian said, up on the pass rush, I'd like to see more from Kingsley Enagbare. I'll say, as far as Kingsley Enagbare goes, he might not be doing quite as much in the pass rush as he did last year. He was frustrated on the playing time, very injured, but he's getting a little bit better at setting the edges on the run, which is huge because that was something he majorly struggled with early in the year.
I'm going to get into the pass rush right now, okay? So we go to the sacks. 5 of them.
Man.
Van Ness, Wyatt, Gary, Clark, and Smith. That's 2 from the D-line. Wyatt is up to 4 sacks. Clark and Smith are at 6. Van Ness got his 2nd career sack, first since week 1. And Rashawn Gary's up to 10 now. I will say that Van Ness had the quickest sack from the Packers, 4.3 seconds. So the potential for this guy is just going to be stupid. We're going to have Gary and Van Ness just absolutely wrecking havoc on offenses, and it's going to be, mamma mia. You go to the quarterback hits. Van Ness again shows up. Kenny Clark shows up again. Kenny Clark and Van Ness both had 1 apiece. They're both also at 5 for the season. You get to the hurries. We had 8. Kenny Clark leads the group with 4 of them. He has 30 on the season that leads the team. Enagbare had 2, so great job by him. He's up to 9 on the season. So for a guy that's kind of, finding his way in and out of the lineup and playing limited snaps, he's still making an impact. Devontae Wyatt had 1. He's up to 24. That's tied for 2nd on the team with Rashawn Gary. And Brooks had 1. He's up to 14. So everybody producing all over, up and down the lineup. Linebackers, D linemen, from the nose tackle position, doesn't matter. Everybody's producing, and the pass rush is, it's not just about sacks. It's about quarterback hits and hurries as well. So they're definitely making life tough for opposing quarterbacks.
Yeah, for sure. Bryant, how about the red zone defense?
Kind of, so 2 of the 3 sacks we had on the night. All 3 of the sacks we had on the night came in the red zone. 2 of them on one drive, another on the other one. And those are the red zone drives in the first half, right? So the Chiefs were 2 for 4 on the red zone on the night. And what happened on the ones we got sacks on, they didn't score. And that is literally the difference of the game. So so the 2 for 4 red zone was huge for us. And then the 2-point, because we can't, downplay the 2-point conversion stop. If they score there, make that, and it's 14-14, it feels a little bit different at that point. I'm not going to lie. So that's a pretty big stop too. So just those sacks in the red zone were insane. So great job by those guys up front. Kind of talking about what Cody said, the lateral quickness. I feel like both of Van Ness's sack on the season. He's been chasing the quarterback, and I feel like the quarterback thought they were going to get away, and they just did not get away. So
Fields and Mahomes are his 2 sacks.
Yeah, pretty good. So
pretty athletic.
Well, one of them's good. The other one's fast, but yeah, great red zone defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake, third down defense.
So third down defense, break this down. 3rd and 3 and shorter, they had 4 attempts. They picked up all 4. 3rd and 4 through 6, so that third medium area, they went 1 for 1. So if you go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6, they're 5 for 5. That's not great. You get to 3rd and 7, that's where they start messing up. You make things a little bit tougher. A couple sacks in there as well. They went 2 for 6. And then you get to 4th down, and this is really what I want to talk about because they had 1 4th down attempt, and that was the last play of the game. They are not, I repeat, I'm going to look directly into this camera right now. I'm not going to look at either of you. They are not calling pass interference on a Hail Mary.
Ever.
Please get over that.
Never.
My son comes home from school on Monday morning, and he tells me, oh, this YouTuber told me they should have called the pass interference because there was a flag where you pushed over Kelsey. I said, Aiden, do you know how many Hail Marys I've seen in my freaking life? A million, okay? You know how many times I've seen a pass interference on a Hail Mary? 0 times.
Wasn't on the fail Mary, wasn't our player like crazy push too? Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and he touched the ball first.
Yeah.
Yep.
MD Jennings, I'll never forget. Shout out.
Should see if he wants to be on the show once.
That'd be awesome, actually.
But my thing with this is too, Travis Kelce, when he gets contacted, doesn't even like try to go for the ball in any sort of way. He just like flails forward and then bear hugs Devondre Campbell and pulls him down.
Yeah.
So anything you want to say that happened there is just offset by Kelce pulling down Devondre Campbell anyways.
That's them knowing they get a call a lot of the times and him just praying that they get it there and just crying.
Right.
Yeah.
Cody said, do they stir their water with a wooden spoon?
I'm just going to let that be what it is.
Okay. On the coaching, all 3 phases, fantastic. Offense got a little shaky in the under a minute drive with the penalty and the negative 2-yard run, but a great punt put the Chiefs at the 3-yard line, didn't give them a chance to get any points. Matt LaFleur, when I say this word in all caps, like bold in my notes, Matt LaFleur was absolutely cooking on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Absolutely cooking. In his bag, dude, he had everything. Everything going. And we've talked so much over the years about the amount of pre-snap motion that he does. Kansas City had no answers for it. Like, yes, they stopped like 2 plays of it, but over the course of the game, the amount of like guys taking a couple steps this way, guys having to look at motion going over here to the play that's then going over here, that stuff, it slows down it slows down the defense by just a second. And that's all it takes for the Packers to then have a play going in the other direction. Or this is one of the things that I see get brought up on outlets like the QB school where love having a guy motion across, it moves a safety just a few steps to the right. That opens up the middle of the field then.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it really is. Because when you're talking about the NFL and the margin of error being small, having those extra 2-3 yards of space to throw a football, it's a big difference. That can be the difference between a wide receiver getting killed as his hands touch the ball or having an opportunity to catch and run. So those things are important. Matt LaFleur, absolutely cooking. Still undefeated in December as a coach, too. 16-0 now.
Did you see what NFL posted?
I did not.
They said Matt LaPerfect. I love that. Also, for all the people that think that Love and LaFleur, they don't want to win, I present this photo to you.
I love that picture, dude. I love that picture so much.
Don't you ever say they don't care. Look at this photo and tell me they don't give a shit. I dare you.
Love that picture.
When was that taken?
What'd you say?
When was that taken?
Sunday night. I don't know. I just took a screenshot from Packers app that I have on my phone. They have a lot of cool photos on there. It is cool, man.
Yeah, absolutely love that.
We're seeing some crazy stuff, man.
Then on time of possession, Green Bay had a slight edge by 32 seconds, and they ran 2 more plays. And I will say this as far as the time of possession go, Packers scoring was about as balanced as you possibly could have it. The Packers scoring by quarter it was before the game. The Packers scoring by quarter 7-7-7-6.
Like that.
That's balance right there. We talked about it for probably 3, 4, or 5 weeks in the middle of the season where the Packers have been a second half team, but they need to be a first half team. That's, like I said, 14 points in the first half, 13 points in the second half. It's about as balanced as you can get. I will take 27 points every single game.
So Cody's talking about Mahomes to DeVito. It's almost like going from Schwarzenegger to DeVito, huh?
All right. Anything else you guys want to say on the team before we use Jordan Love to transition?
No.
Okay. Jordan Love, baller. Absolute baller. Bryant, what stood out to you about Jordan Love against the Chiefs?
I don't know how it's possible, but I feel like we're turning around saying, hey, he's played his best game as a pro for the 5th week in a row. And look at this. Back-to-back primetime games against teams where I think we were a touchdown underdog. He's rolling into his 3rd primetime game. Now we're a touchdown favorite or whatever it was.
Yep,
I want to see how he handles that stress. But this dude just won 2 huge primetime games against what people arguably said, top teams in the top couple teams in their conference. So I want to see how he handles that. The throws to Dobbs and Watson are just insane. But the thing that I'm seeing from him, he's playing in so much rhythm right now. He's throwing the ball before they're breaking. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. Watching him change the plays at that, he's using that hard count. Thank you, Rogers. I want to say something about Rogers a little later on, but thank you for, he taught him that. He's changing the plays. He's getting him in the best spot to succeed. He's attacking the middle of the field. I don't know what else people want to see from him to be like, holy cow. If he plays the next 5 games like he's played the last 5 games, we are going to extend him sooner rather than later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, Samuel summed it up perfectly. He said his complete command of the offense looks like he's been running it for years. Because he kind of has.
Yeah. Don't forget that Rodgers wasn't at camp and stuff the last 2-3 years or whatever. Jordan has had a lot of time in this. He just didn't have the actual game time experience, and that's going to come with nerves and everything. He's settling in, and he's making crazy off-platform throws. When he's in rhythm, he's just zipping it in there. I expected him to be good, and I told a lot of people, I think you're going to be a little surprised. People are down talking to him, and I think we've all had that positive outlook. Mm-hmm. He's surprising me even.
Yeah, he's exceeding our expectations. I can look at it after the show, and we can kind of see where we had him projected. But I think we had him projected for 27 touchdowns and 12 or 13 picks. Yeah. He's gonna beat that.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna throw for 4,000 yards, probably 30 touchdowns.
He'll be close on the 4,000 yards, but I think
he's on pace right now for 4,000 yards.
40,000 or 40 and 33. So he's got a lot of wiggle room, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, Jake, what stood out to you about Jordan Love?
It is really hard to put into words how incredible this turnaround is from a guy who at times will make a play and you're like, wow, man, you definitely tell he's got the arm talent, he's got the feet, right? He's making big time runs. He had a run against the Falcons where he's like, we needed the juice, so he decided not to go down, right? And you love the guy off the field because of the way that he carries himself, going from a Brett Favre
5 away. He is 5 away. The Bears' leading passing touchdown season is 29. Yeah.
Yep. And you go from the growth from a week 2. He had some down weeks. He's throwing interceptions to lose games on Monday Night Football. We lose to the Broncos. Everybody's kind of out on the Packers. And then, like Brian said, man, and I wrote that down too, I feel like we keep saying that every week is his best game. And the anticipation, the accuracy. And the thing that people don't understand about accuracy is sometimes they see a ball thrown, they're like, Where was he throwing that to? Every once in a while, you have to throw it to a spot where a guy's supposed to be. You're not just supposed to throw it at the guy, right? That's part of the anticipation and accuracy in one, right? So everything is just improving for Jordan Love, and it really seems like the sky is the limit. There was a conversation I had a couple of years ago with when I was a Pepsi merchandiser, and I had to cover Nina Festival Foods, and I was talking to the grocery manager, and I was like, "What do you think we should do with Jordan Love?" Right? This is right after Rodgers, winning MVPs, and we're going to NFC Championship games. And he said, we should hold on to him. I think he's going to win an MVP in his career. I thought that guy was fucking nuts. I told him, I was like, dude, you're fucking nuts. We're going to have a third quarterback win an MVP? You're crazy, man. Tell you what, I feel like I'm crazy for not believing in him because this kid cares and we should all care about him too.
Yeah. And I'll say this, it goes worth mentioning that the pass catchers play a part in this.
Yeah.
Because they're all young guys too, all of them.
Yeah.
And they are all improving too, which then helps Jordan Love, which then helps the pass catchers back again. And that's where the timing and anticipation comes because Jordan Love has to be able to expect guys to be in certain spots at certain times. And with guys getting better at the execution, which is something we talked a lot about. And we talk about the Raiders games, the Broncos games, those games where Jake and I broke down plays where it's like, when they have these plays, when they end up executed the way that they're supposed to be, they're going to go for big gains.
Yes.
We are now seeing the fruits of those labors, of going through that. And people keep bringing up too, well, if the Packers had won the Broncos game, if they had won the Raiders game, if they had won the Falcons game, the Packers aren't who they are today without having gone through those losses. They are not the same team if they hadn't gone through those scenarios, those tough losses, those learning moments, those building moments. They're not the same team today if they don't go through those games. So it's necessary for them to be where they are to have gone through what they've gone through. You don't get battle tested without going through battles. So for me on Jordan Love, against the Chiefs, made 4 big-time throws, credited by PFF. 3 of them were under pressure, and all 4 of them were for 20-plus yards.
Did you guys see his numbers? Have you seen his numbers against the blitz this year?
I have, but I don't remember them.
It's just I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was disgusting.
Have you seen his numbers against man defense? Tyler, I texted that to you. You remember that?
Yeah, you did.
All of his interceptions have come against zone. He has 0 interceptions against man defense, dude.
Here, under pressure in this game, when blitzed, he was 12 of 16 for 97 yards and a touchdown.
No, I mean on the season, though.
Oh, on the season? Let me see. I'll pull it up once.
That's filthy. All I know is I think he had 4 touchdowns and 10 interceptions against the zone, and all of he had like 15-0 against man. So, I mean, he just eats man defense alive. So, please, Giants, play man defense.
When blitzed, he's 92 for 151. That's a 61% completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Maybe it was against the 4-day or the last 3 game. Whatever it was. But he's improving, and the numbers were just really good. Yeah. So even though, I mean, it's not like that's bad. That's bad what you just said either. 61, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's pretty good too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I had to write some of these things down. Jordan Love's currently 13th in the NFL in passing yards. He's tied for 5th in passing touchdowns. He's tied for 4th in interceptions with Mahomes, Tua, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Dobbs. Cody said sounds like refs. Yeah, it does. He is 14th in QBR, which middle of the pack. It's
not bad, actually.
Not bad. For his first year starting, I'll take it. And he is 10th in expected points added.
Damn, that's pretty fucking good, man.
I'm pretty sure over the last 3
he's in the top half. If he has one more good game, like the way that he has been, I'm willing to put him in top 12-ish.
Yeah, quarterback. I think over the last 3 games, they said he's pretty much. I think he's been like the best or the second best. Yeah. I think Brock Purdy's really good too. Having really good last stretch, like last 3 games, like he's one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Yep, and Dak is up there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been fantastic the last 3 weeks.
I will say This is a really weird year in the NFL for quarterbacks.
That's why I think Tyreek Hill has one of the best chances for a non-quarterback to win MVP.
Dude, if he gets to 2,000 yards, 100% he should be the MVP.
Absolutely. Yep.
1,000 million %. There's no chance that he doesn't. I don't give a shit about an extra game.
I'm sorry, but a quarterback in the mid-30s for touchdown passes should not win a MVP. You're talking about like Rodgers or Mahomes when they're throwing 48, 50 touchdowns in a 16-week season when they're winning their MVPs.
Or
I don't
45 and
quarterback. I don't think there'll be. I bet money that there won't be a quarterback that hits 40 this year.
I don't think so.
Unless
maybe Prescott.
Maybe Prescott. He still has to have a pretty solid last 5 games to do that.
He has to throw 3 a game and 1 game with 2.
Yeah.
So he could. Okay. Last thing I want to say about Jordan Love, I have to go back because I said it at some point during like the training camp part of the summertime.
Mm.
But I said it, and it's it's coming true a little bit. Where I asked for Jordan Love's play style to be a little bit of a mix of Brett Favre and a little bit of a mix of Aaron Rodgers, and we're seeing it. We're seeing some times where instead of throwing the ball away and just, having the ball at incompletion, he's giving his receivers chances to make plays. That 4th down throw, he's giving his receiver a chance to make a play. That 2nd touchdown to Christian Watson, he's throwing that ball to the back of the end zone where only his guy can get it, and he's making plays. He's giving his receivers chances to make plays. He's trusting his receivers to make plays. And he's slinging that bitch. Brett Favre style.
It just looks so different. He's using the middle of the field. Like, exactly. I love Aaron and I love what he did for our team, but the not using the middle of the field always bothered me. Like, Jordan, hopefully he continues to do this throughout his career because it's opened up our offense a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's, like I said, he's got a little bit of a willingness to sling it, but he's also got, some of the timing and the anticipation and taking care of the ball. Like, yes, we've seen him have some turnovers. Some of it is in situations where he's trying to make plays to win games. But it's a little bit of a mix, and I am absolutely here for it.
2023 Jordan Love has been better than 22 Aaron Rodgers. There's not much of a debate on that. So.
Right.
Broken thumb, Aaron Rodgers.
Broken thumb and ribs.
Right.
Yeah.
And rib injury. That's why I didn't bring that up. But yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to say on the Packers and Chiefs before we start previewing this Giants game?
No.
All right. Bryant, what are you looking for from the Giants defense against the Packers offense?
So for our offense, the Giants defense has not played well. They're giving up 24 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
But their yards allowed are actually really similar to Green Bay, right? So they've been okay against the pass. Their rush, they're allowing 136 yards per game. Unfortunately, we might not have our best player in the running game. If Aaron Jones can play, this is like a chance for him to eat and kind of make up for the loss of Christian Watson. They do have 12 interceptions, so we do got to be a little bit careful. They can pick off the opposing quarterback. They've only had 21 sacks, but 11 of those have come from Kayvon and 4 from Dexter Lawrence. Who scares me this game is Dexter Lawrence because we have seen Myers where he just completely whiffs on a block. Right, and the pressure is right up the middle. So we need to make sure we have a plan for that. As for rushing, I talked about 136 yards per game, the most yards per carry, 18 rushing touchdowns, which is the second most in the league. This is the one I wanted to bring up, though. So the Giants have allowed opponents to score on 61.9% of red zone trips, but at home, that number drops to 45%, which is one of the top in the league. So this will be a big game, for running backs. I just feel like we need to produce on the ground again. I do believe in Jordan Love that he can get it done through the air, but it makes it so much easier for him. Like, he's doing this stuff without having a very, very stable running game. Dylan has filled in nicely, especially the last handful of games. But that home run hitter at running back is a huge thing. So hopefully Aaron Jones is back. But overall, I think we just need to run the ball, and we need to score in the red zone. We need to protect the ball. The way this team beats you is by turning the ball over and giving them short fields.
And Matt LaFleur actually talked about that. He was asked a question about it today, and he responded over their last 3 games, the Giants are +9 in turnovers. So that's big. Packers had none last week. Jordan Love hasn't lost a fumble all year. Just knock on some wood real quick. But you brought it up. You brought up Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau. Those two are absolutely very, very good players. And Cody said Kraft 2-touchdown game incoming. We'll see. New York Giants, they have a good pass rush, but their statistics don't reflect it. So you would look at it and be like, oh, I don't remember exactly what number they're ranked, but they're not ranked very high in sacks. But they have good pass rushers, and their names are going to come up again.
From their interception numbers, because people are getting rid of the ball quick and they're picking the ball off.
Yeah, and that's a factor. It absolutely is a factor. For my thing, I'm going to still be keeping an eye on the chunk plays. I brought it up since the Chargers game. They had 11 plays of 15-plus yards against the Chargers. They had 8 plays of 15-plus yards against Detroit. And they had 7 plays of 15-plus yards against the Chiefs. So I'm looking for the Packers offense to keep getting those chunk plays. Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers offense?
Yeah, so you look at our offensive rankings. We're 17th in total yards, 18th in passing yards, 20th in rush yards, and 18th in points. Then you go over to the Giants' defensive ranks, 28th total, 20th against the pass, 29th against the run, and 26th in points given up. But they do have some X-factor players. You guys brought up a few of them.
25 sacks.
Xavier McKinney is not a joke at the safety position. He's a very good player over there. Bobby Okereke, I believe I said that correctly.
Nicely done.
Been practicing all day. He's having a really, really good year. He has 4 forced fumbles and 2 sacks, I believe. And he's been one of the best pass coverage linebackers in the NFL, according to Next Gen Stats. So you might want to hold off on that Tucker Kraft 2-touchdown game because he's been covering tight ends really, really well. Outside of the rankings, like I said, they got some good players. Packers just need to stay on schedule. Run the ball, stay ahead of the chains, let Jordan Love do what he does. Matt LaFleur, you cook. We'll be okay.
The pre-snap motion, I brought it up last week. I know I did because I was there. The pre-snap motion, it helps negate the pass rush.
Yep. And
continue to use it.
I will say, Brian brought it up. I wanted to harp on it a little bit. Him using the hard count and finding out where people are coming from, and he looks like a seasoned vet, bro. He was up there calling the shot. I was ready to call him the sheriff, bro. He was going nuts.
He's reminding us of what he's been learning.
Yeah.
He looks like a player who's played about 13 games, but has been in the system that he's in for years.
Yep.
So he's spent years learning the system, and now he's getting his experience with it. The Packers, I said this when the Packers drafted Jordan Love. I don't blame them for trying to replicate the formula they went from Favre to Rodgers.
Nope.
Like, it worked out fantastic last time. The dude won 4 MVPs in a Super Bowl. I don't blame them for trying to replicate that process. We've seen tons and tons and tons of first-round picks flame out, already be out of the league. Like, one first-round pick, while a valuable pick, is still worth the price to find out if you can replicate that formula.
Look how many first-round quarterbacks get ruined because they get started too early. Kenny Pickett is trash. Mac Jones is trash. Zach Wilson is trash. Like,
Bears are hanging on by a thread to Justin Fields, who
Trubisky is trash.
Fields is done. Like, Trubisky's trash. Like, these
Josh Rosen, Johnny Manziel out of the league. Baker Mayfield has become a journeyman. Cam Newton is out of the league. Obviously, he won an MVP, but
there is a very big difference between the NFL and college. So all these people are like, oh, this college team would beat the worst NFL team. It wouldn't be close.
No.
It would not be even close.
No.
Stop rushing quarterbacks. Take your time on it. There are some, don't get me wrong, CJ Stroud showing that you can do it.
Yep.
But look at Bryce Young. Like, they stuck that dude in a terrible situation. It is so bad that their head coach got fired because CJ Stroud is doing so well. Like, it's bad for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we can go on and on and on through every single draft class of guys who were put in situations where they weren't given, a whole lot of learning time and told to be the guy.
I will say, though, the draft class that Love is included in, there's 5 quarterbacks drafted.
Man.
They all look pretty fucking good.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Bryant, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Giants offense?
So the Giants have given up the most sacks in the league, and it's not close. So they're giving up 69 sacks. Yeah,
Nice.
that's nearly 6 sacks a game.
Do you want to know something? I have the percentage.
Yeah, tell me.
They give up. Oh, this is disgusting. They give up sacks on 16.39% of their plays.
That's disgusting.
That is the worst in the NFL by over 5%.
That's like one.
Nobody else in the NFL gives up over 11%.
You know what's weird though? They beat the brakes off the Washington Commanders, and they got sacked 9 times. They got sacked 9 times and still put up 31 points on the Washington Commanders.
How bad is Washington's defense? Holy shit!
But so
the Giants are far and away the worst at sacks. Green Bay, for reference, is number 7 at 5.54%. So, doing a good job there.
But the Packers, the Giants, because of those sacks, they're the worst offense in the NFL. They're at 13.3 points per game and only 258 yards per game. They haven't really been able to move the ball through there, but I will say Tommy DeVito has been playing well, and they have won 2 games in a row with him at quarterback, scoring 31 points in one of those games. That's one against Washington. But in those last two games that they've won, he's been sacked 15 times.
Those are Chicago
I don't see them beating us with throwing the ball. So really, just for me, be prepared to stop Barkley because he's talented enough to take over the game. If they bottle him up, it'll be tough for New York, I think, to do much. I do think even if Barkley has a solid game, we can still beat him because I don't think they can score enough. That's why we're talking about don't turn the ball over. How they beat us is if we give them a short field because they can't. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball. If we have the games we've had where we're pinning them back and we're like, okay, yep, you know what, we're going to punt here and not force it, but you're going to start from your own 8 to 10 yard line. That's big. You know what I mean? So,
field position's a real thing.
So that's what I'm looking for. Just get after the quarterback and slow down the run a little bit, and I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, even if Saquon Barkley gets his, there's no shame in that. Saquon Barkley's a really good football player.
Yep.
Just like Travis Kelce, he's a really good football player. You're not going to completely stop him. There are going to be scenarios where it's like, man, they could have had him, but they didn't. Saquon is good. The other team has a say in what happens. We don't just get to dictate our will on the other team, and they just get to be like, okay, yep, thanks for giving us nothing. Like they have say. They're also playing the game. Yeah. There are Giants podcasts where like this is how we beat the Packers. Like that's a thing.
There is a road map for how the Giants can beat us.
Exactly.
There was a road map for how we beat Kansas City.
Exactly.
And
okay, Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Giants offense?
The Giants coaches are all about putting that roadmap, into play. So they get paid a lot of money.
All just end up putting.
How do we stop this offense? Well, they're 32nd in total yards at 258. They're 32nd in passing yards at 151. They're 18th in rush at 107.
Only 3.9 yards a carry too.
Yeah, they're just like not great on offense. Hasn't been great. They were, I will say, worse with Danny Dimes. Still can't believe they gave him that nickname.
I was laughing so hard.
Second of all, can't believe they gave him that contract. That is just unreal to me.
Should give Fields that contract.
Yeah,
please. The Packers are 18th in total, 10th in pass, 30th against the run, and we're 1 below the Giants by 0.2 yards. And we're 9th in points. We give up 20 points per game, 20.3 points per game. How do we stop them? I have almost the exact same thing, suffocate the run game. You let DeVito take his little checkdowns, rally to the ball, tackle. Don't let big gains happen. They don't really have any X-factor guys on the outside. I mean, Jalen Hyatt had a nice game last week. Shout out. That's my guy from Tennessee. He's a big play guy. If he doesn't catch a bomb for 70 yards, he's probably not doing much. He's just a field stretcher. But, I think just suffocate the run. Saquon's going to break plays like Tyler said. That's what makes Saquon. He makes amazing plays, and he has humongous. By the way, we get to see some of the most amazing legs for running backs. Hey, dude, Saquon, huge quads. Obviously, you heard A.J. Dillon introduce himself on Sunday Night Football, Quad Squad University.
Just the way you said it was a little sus.
Yeah.
Hey, Okay, first of all, are you 10? Are you 10? Did you say sus? Are you 10 years old right now? What's happening?
Give me them ham hocks.
my wife's a teacher. I had to throw it out there. She's like, I was telling my kids, and I was saying something that they were doing were sus, and they're like, "Ew, Miss Courtney, don't say that. You're like 30."
Dude, I just hear Aiden.
Shout out to my wife for being a teacher and for doing that. Okay. Now, you brought up some of these things, and you brought up the playmakers. I will say keep an eye on their practice reports. I haven't so far, but Darren Waller has been practicing.
Yeah, he's a big threat.
Yeah, exactly. Reggie said, is there any chance Taylor plays over DeVito? I heard he was practicing. No. Danny DeVito is their starting quarterback. I'm just going to call him Danny DeVito. It's more fun.
Where's the gabagoo?
I'm just thinking about Batman Returns now. Thinking about Danny DeVito. Okay. So the other thing with the Packers defense, they are tied for the 5th lowest passing yards allowed per game. They are 18th in rushing touchdowns allowed per game. They only allow 0.9 rushing touchdowns per game.
Oh, wow.
So they're essentially allowing one rushing touchdown per game, which isn't like egregious, and it's not anything to like what I would say the perception is among Packers fans about what the run defense actually is.
That's fair.
Like, and I've said this 1,000 times, I don't give a shit about yards. I care about points. And Joe Barry, even to his credit, during today's press conference, he said the only stat that matters is the scoreboard at the end of the game.
True.
Okay. Bryant, what is the matchup that you are watching?
I am watching. This is kind of interesting. I just put Jordan Love and the Packers versus a recent crowning a little bit in their praise. Can they avoid that letdown game and beat a team that really shouldn't have much trouble with? Like when you consider the teams they just beat, they really shouldn't have that much trouble with this. But this is where I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers a little bit. I really like what he said on Pat McAfee. For one, I want to give him praise because he could have easily did what Brett Favre did to him. No, he's texting this guy after game saying, "Great game, like good job."
Very professional.
Praising him. He's saying that it was his time. Like he's seen him and he took care of him. So that's huge. And now he's kind of doing a little bit on the Pat McAfee show, right? They wanted Aaron Rodgers to come out and crown. He's like, "Can we just let this kid that's a lot of pressure we're putting on him. Like stop crowning him, essentially. Like let him play." And he didn't mean it in a bad way. I'm sure there was people out there like
he meant the reverse also.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he meant to not be like dogging him when he's playing bad, but also not saying he's the next Hall of Fame quarterback right away.
Exactly. So and I'm sure there are people like, "Oh, he's just jealous or he's mad that Jordan's succeeding." He's not. He loves Jordan Love, and
he's being professional.
He talks about texting him after games. He talks about even when he wasn't able to watch the Kansas City Packers game, that he was running into the other room and asking for updates on the game from somebody else. Like he legitimately isn't invested in Jordan Love and wanting him to have a good career. And for him, Jordan Love learned a lot from Aaron Rodgers. It's clear. You can see that, right?
Yep.
So we really owe a lot to Aaron, not only for what he did for the Packers when he was a player, but for what he's kind of helped do going forward, right? There's no way you can look at this and say that Jordan Love didn't learn from Aaron Rodgers. So, so really, I liked what he said about that, and it's just kind of like, can they avoid a letdown? Like they're probably looking at the Giants like, yeah, we should smack this team, especially the way we're playing. Guess what? As soon as you have that mentality, and Matt LaFleur's already started talking out against it a little bit, you can get punched in the mouth. So that's my matchup. It's kind of like not a normal matchup, but that's what I'm looking at.
I mean, Jake, we've talked about it a little bit with Badgers basketball about when you raise your level of play and you start building momentum and winning a lot of games in a row, you lose the title of underdog, and then you start becoming the team where it's like, okay, let's beat them because it makes a statement for us.
There is a much different perspective from being the hunter to being the hunted.
Yeah.
A much different perspective.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. So, you want me to do my matchup?
Yeah, go ahead. Rip it.
My matchup is Kayvon Thibodeau versus Packers tackles, and we're doing that little.
Oh, you fucker! That's so close to mine. I should have gone first.
Kayvon Thibodeau has 11 sacks, mentioned already.
Yep.
7 of those are at home, so he likes to feast when he's wearing the big blue jersey.
I'm just curious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they've played equal amount, I believe it looks like. I don't know. They've played 1, 2, 3. They've played 5 home games and 7 road games.
Damn.
That's even wilder. It's not even like a 50-50 split. They've actually played more games on the road.
Wow, so, I didn't even look that up.
7 sacks in 5 games at home. That's a lot.
Pretty wild, actually.
So mine was Zach Tom specifically against Kayvon Thibodeau. And my reasoning there was Thibodeau had 8 pressures in the Giants' last game 2 weeks ago against the Patriots.
Yeah, coming off by
Patriots obviously not as good, but 8 pressures in a game is good.
It is.
Giants are coming in rested too. You know, they've won 2 games in a row. Like,
right.
People are like, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they still have pride.
Right. And it's still, you're still going to have guys fighting for.
They have nothing to lose. They're playing
and all that.
Yeah. Now the Packers are in a position again. They have something to lose. The Giants don't have anything to lose right now.
Right. And there's a little bit of a revenge factor in it for the Packers too, because the Giants beat them last year in London. So
really derailed our season.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Bryant, who is your X factor?
So my X factor is, and I know Jake will like this because he was talking about earlier, Kenny Clark, and I threw in Devontae Wyatt a little bit, but the interior of the offensive line for the Giants has been absolute trash. It's time for Descendant Kenny just to like continue to feast. I know they've given up like 69 sacks. I don't know how PFF only has like their offensive line credited for giving up like 12 total sacks. I don't know how those numbers work, but the worst ones on their defense were, I think all interior offensive linemen have given up at least 4 sacks or something like that.
PFF has them at 38 allowed.
Oh, okay. So whatever, a lot of those have come from the interior. I don't know if you can see that, how quickly you can see that, but I know a lot of them come from their 2 guards and their centers. So I think Devontae Wyatt and Kenny Clark should have a chance to wreck this game.
Maybe Carl Brooks.
That too.
So while Tyler's looking that up, my X factor is, I'm just going to tell a little story. The Giants are 0-4 in primetime games this year. They have been outscored 108-24 in primetime. That's really fucking bad. In my opinion, we got to get on them early. They might be like a oh shit where it's happening again. You know, you talk about this when you're playing, you know, bad teams in every sport, right? Baseball, basketball, it doesn't matter. If you get on those teams early, they kind of go back and hit, you know, factory mode where they're like, okay, we're just going to go through the motions and, you know, let's play 60 minutes, blah, 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 right? So get on them early, punch them in the mouth. They probably won't punch back.
So I did look it up. The interior line has given up 21 of those 38. And then the running backs and tight ends are also factored in that. The tackles have given up 17 of those 38.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not like they're strong anywhere, but the interior line is even, and the fastest way to the quarterback is right up the middle, right? So I think that, you know,
it seems like they haven't been great at picking them up. So whether it be tight ends or running backs, that they haven't been great at picking up those pass rushers when they do get through.
True.
Okay. Jake, who's your X factor?
I just said it. Get on them early.
Oh, okay.
I didn't pick like a specific player.
That's what I was listening for. I was listening for a player name.
No. I picked like a like we got to get on them early. It's going to take a team effort to get on them early.
All right. So mine is a guy to watch on the injury report. Mine is Aaron Jones. So Green Bay's offense has had 2 really good games without him. My question is, this is kind of a leave your imagination go wild. Can Aaron Jones take the Packers offense a level higher even?
100%.
Than 29.
If you start ripping off long runs, the play action becomes even more like, okay.
And Aaron Jones is, I still say, a top 3 dual threat running back in the NFL.
You're talking about a guy that, okay, so what? They say Romeo Doubs, who they say is the best wide receiver at breaking the tackle. They say Romeo Doubs. That's what they were talking about last week, right? Best rack receiver. I would say that Aaron Jones is in that conversation when he catches the ball.
Yep. Or he took a 61-yard screen to the house in week 1.
Wow, that was a Texas route, but yeah, he killed that guy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my question. If Aaron Jones can take the Packers from a place where they're scoring 29 and 27 points a game to scoring 33, 35, 100%. That's man. It's exciting to think about.
You think Wicks is the best rack receiver? It's interesting.
Wicks? I'm gonna look it up. I'm just gonna look it up. I have all the have all the things pulled up here. I'm just going to look it up.
I think Wicks is pretty good.
Receiving. Okay. Yards after catch.
If we're going like the best rack guy last couple of weeks, I like watching Tucker Kraft, dude. He doesn't run away from anybody.
Not who any of us thought.
Is it Heath?
The yards after catch receiver is AJ Dillon.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
I mean, he's got like a couple screens that he's taken for like 20 yards. So he's had some really long ones that factor in. But yards after catch, AJ Dillon, 206. Aaron Jones is still number 2 at 195.
Dude, he's the best. I was saying that shit, bro. He's the best rack on this team, bro.
Then Jaden Reed is number 3 at 192. Then it's Musgrave, Wicks, Watson, Dobbs. Then Tucker Kraft.
I just like watching Tucker Kraft run into people. He just doesn't.
And the thing is he's coming along. He was saying Wicks is his X factor.
Yeah.
And I will say credit to AJ Dillon for the play against the Lions where he jumped over a dude while also absorbing a hit and then continuing to run. I mean, that's like 15 yards after catch and after contact. So
did the guy even hit him?
He didn't move,
like bro. A pinball.
He didn't move at all.
Like the pads.
Yeah. But it was a grown human being.
That's a good X factor, Reggie, for sure. Especially if Watson misses.
Yeah, that's a good one. Bryant, what is your key to the game?
Don't turn the ball over. I don't think this team can beat us if we don't give them points.
Yep. Jake, what's your key to the game?
All right. My key to the game, get the run game going. This is it's not one of my Simon said. I'm predicting A.J. Dillon to get 100 yards. It'll be his second 100-yard game in his career. Do you guys remember his first 100-yard game?
You stole mine from last week.
Oh, did I?
That was my exact Simon Says last week.
He's been trending up. I mean, he had 9 carries for 70 yards against the Steelers, obviously a 40-yard run in that game. Last week, the 18 for 73, 4.1 yards per carry against a pretty good Chiefs defense. They don't miss a lot of tackles. But yes, his other 100-yard game was against the Titans. He had 21 carries for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. Holy shit.
That game was awesome.
Yeah, well, as Devontae was cooking, like, oh, man.
Yeah,
everyone's like, oh, we're not going to stop Derrick Henry. And we're like, yeah, we got to.
Yeah, what did he have, like 29 yards that day?
Yeah, dude, Barry was cooking that day because we were going nuts against the run.
Reggie said, pressure the QB/O-line, make them make mistakes. Absolutely. Love that. My key to the game, really simple. Just get the ball first. 3 straight games getting the ball first. 3 W's. They all started with the ball. Get the ball first. Go put yourself up 7-0 right away.
I don't hate that, actually. I like that a lot.
I would do, but yes.
I like that a lot, actually.
Jake, what's the weather looking like?
It's going to rain all day on Sunday. But
it's going to rain.
It's going to rain. It's going to rain on Monday morning. We don't play in the morning. So the rain will stop mid-afternoonish. It'll be 32 degrees, breezy in the evening, mostly clear, winds at 12 miles per hour. So
I just hate that field, man. I hope we get out of there healthy.
Man, I was thinking the same thing. That field is terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Bryant, what is your first? Let's do offense first. Give me your offensive, Simon Says.
Okay. My offensive, Simon Says, Packers have 3 rushing touchdowns from running backs on the season. They double that number this week.
I'm going to say no. Jordan Love's been too good passing.
Damn. I don't know what I want to say right now. I almost want to say yes. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Okay. I like the numbers for Jordan selfishly because I want him to just keep balling out, but it'd be sick to see Aaron and A.J. Dillon, get like 3 combined touchdowns.
Let me say this. If they get 2, the third one, they're going to line up like jumbo, and they're going to fake it.
Probably.
And then
probably another block and release.
If they get 2 rushing touchdowns and they're lined up for a third one, and the Giants are like, fuck, they're going to run a fake, and they'll run like a block and release with a tight end because it's working fabulously.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we are living in the era where Aaron Jones had 4 rushing touchdowns against.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. If we get into a situation where they're scoring 30 or more, then
yeah, I can see it.
Reggie said 2 Love running touchdowns. Maybe we get a Love shove in there.
Oh boy,
just Love.
We got to go with it. We got to go with
it. Jake, you got an offensive? Simon says.
I do. Simon's already saying no. Love 5 touchdowns to 5 different receivers.
Holy fuck. Okay. If he throws 5, I absolutely could see it to 5 different guys because of how good the pass distribution has been.
You're really stuck on this 5 touchdown number. I've had it a couple of times.
I want it. I want it.
I can see 4. I can't do 5 yet.
I want 5. I want 5 different players gets a touchdown.
Bro, if Love is throwing 5 touchdowns, that's going to be a problem for all of us at home.
If Love throws 5 touchdowns, we're doing that clown video. But we're going to make it Jordan Love.
Fine. Deal. I'll give you that. That's a deal. Okay. Reggie said I wanted to say this, but I didn't want to sound crazy. So there you go. Jake will do it for you.
I'll sound crazy for you.
This is dependent on Aaron Jones's health. But mine on offense is that Jaden Reed leads in receiving and rushing yards.
Ooh.
Only if Aaron Jones doesn't play. If Aaron Jones plays, then this is obviously not happening.
That's an interesting one.
I'll say yeah.
A couple end around. He would have to break a super long end around for sure.
Right. Or just a lot of passing and not using the run as much.
True.
Yeah, true.
All right. Bryant, what about defense?
Packers have 5 different players record at least 1 full sack for the game.
I love it.
Yeah, that was pretty close to mine.
I'm gonna say my neck. Oh, you guys yours involve sacks too?
Yeah.
Oh, look at us. Nice. All right.
You go first. You go first.
Mine is that Rashawn Gary has his 3rd 3-sack game of the season.
Oh, that's really close to mine. Are you ready? Gary and Van Ness both have 2 sacks each.
Nice.
Man,
I thought about that one. No joke. I thought about something very similar that Preston and Gary each have a sack, but I feel like since their offensive line across the board has been so bad, like when they flex help somewhere else, someone else is getting home. So
yeah, that's fair.
Reggie, who did you miss? Set a leg for somebody's. I'm guessing Bryant's, but they were all sacks involved.
Reggie, I said that 5 different players will record at least 1 full sack.
Mine was Rashawn Gary gets his 3rd 3-sack game, and then Jake's was Gary and Van Ness 2 each.
Yeah.
So we're just playing for like an 11-sack game.
I want all of them to happen.
Yeah,
I want Gary to have 3 sacks, LVN to have 2, and then 3 other players to have 1.
That'd be sick.
Man, dude, if that happens,
I mean, that would be only,
you could
theoretically do that. You could theoretically do that with 8 sacks, and against Washington, they gave up 9.
Yeah, like it's literally possible. I mean, I watched the Bengals play a game where Burrow got sacked like 9-10 times, and they won. So
Justin Fields has probably had games of that many as well.
Yeah.
Reggie said I'm waiting for a Van Ness show. It's going to happen. He's going to just break out and have a monstrous game at some point.
Think about it this way. He's already at – I know he's probably got more snaps. I don't know the snap count, but Gary had 2 sacks his first year. I'm pretty sure is what the number was. Van Ness is there now.
Something like that, yeah. Lucas Van Ness right now
has 2 sacks.
Yep, he has 2. I was looking to see snap counts. On the season – he has played 275 snaps.
So it's not that much higher than Gary's, but it's definitely higher than what Gary was doing.
Right. For reference, I mean, some other pass rushers like Kingsley Enagbare has played 341 snaps. TJ Slayton's played 477.
Jeez.
Let's see. Kenny Clark has played 583. Preston Smith, 549.
Smith doesn't leave the field.
Pretty much double Van Ness's numbers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's playing, like half of the amount of snaps. So it's not like he's doing a little bit with a lot of snaps. He's playing limited playing time because he's a little bit of a project. So Bryant, what is your score prediction from the head?
I put Packers. I changed it just a little bit. I'm going to go Packers 23, Giants 17.
Oh, super close to mine. I have 24-17.
24-17. GB. Okay, well.
Jake got him at 23.5. Got it.
For the people at home, week 8, the Green Bay Packers at a 6% playoff probability. If they win on Monday night, it goes up to 76%. That is insane, and you'll love to hear it.
Yes.
They're going to win from the head 28-20.
Ooh, so you do have them predicted more than a touchdown. I guess a touchdown to 2
I
points.
just hope we don't give up 20 points to this Giants.
I have one score. When you said touchdown, I thought one score.
That's fair. Yep. Touchdown to 2-point conversion is still a one-score game. Reggie said 31-17.
Wow.
Like
I would love that.
Bryant, what is your score prediction from the heart?
27-13.
I like it. Not super far off of mine. I have 30-16.
30-16. Okay. I don't see it being much different than my head. I think the Packers are going to win. I think they're going to win by 10 this time, 27-17.
Yeah, could totally see that. And here's the thing. I'm going to say it. I'm going to give the disclaimer. It is possible that the Giants win this football game. Yep. It is also possible that if the Giants win this football game, that the Packers can still make the playoffs. Let's not act like it's not any longer possible.
Yep.
All right. That said, we just discussed for a whole long time of why the Packers can do it and how well they've been rolling lately. I want to thank everybody who has stuck around with us for the whole hour and 45 minutes of the show. Brian and Jake, thank you guys. We will see you guys on next Friday and GoPackGo Monday night.
Yeah, thanks for all the interaction. It's fun interacting.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, everybody, for commenting along as well.
Peace out, Reggie. Have a good night.